everybody, and welcome back to Rise of the Podcast. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Kara.
And I'm Brownie.
Hey, and guess what? We are on episode 8, The Last Jedi, and this is what makes it a great movie.
For those of you who are unaware, or if this is the first video of this series that you're watching, we are going through and rewatching each of the main series Star Wars films and generating 2 videos. One video that talks about why that film is a great movie, which is this one for episode 8, and another which talks about why it is terrible, which will be coming soon.
Ooh, right.
So we've already gone through, we've done every film up to episode 8. This is the last one we're going to do before The Rise of Skywalker comes out.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Me too.
And it's been really fun going back through and rewatching all these films, but we'll do all that in another another video. Let's talk about why Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, is a great movie.
So I've always said this, that Star Wars does like humor extremely well. And they start off very strong in The Last Jedi. So you get the opening scene, and there's a lot there, but you get the opening scene with Poe, and he's trolling Hux, just hard.
Tell your precious princess there will be no terms, there will be no surrender.
Hi, I'm holding for General Hux.
This is Hux. You and your friends are doomed. We will wipe your filth from the galaxy.
Okay, I'll hold.
Hello?
Hello, this is Hux this is Poe looking for General Hux. I'll hold. There's Hux there. So you get all these funny Hux moments, right? And Poe, and you get that classic Poe character, which really, again, kind of just builds Poe into just this awesome kind of, cocky pilot that is an important part to his character throughout the movie.
Hugs?
He can.
With an H? Skinny guy? Kind of pasty?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Look, I can't hold forever. If you reach him, tell him Leia has an urgent
Message for him.
I believe he's tooling with you, sir.
About his mother.
Open fire!
But you also get just the cool flying, just the drift scene out. I always remember the movie theater moments that I had, and rewatching the movies brings me back to those moments. And how, like, everyone next to me got really excited about that. And then the whole theater erupted when BB-8 finally uses his head to, like, plug the sparks. It's just too funny, because he's, like, completely overwhelmed, and it's a classic, like, cartoon
There's the
moment.
little Dutch boy that's trying to plug the holes in the dam.
Yep. Oh, little BB-8.
And so that was just
tried.
really cute. So it's just moments like that. It's like just delves into the Star Wars ability to pull off humor in a somewhat serious space opera drama.
Well, it's doing 2 things. Not only is it being funny, but he's also stalling for time for the evacuation.
Yes.
So it's not that they're just making a goofy joke to make a joke. They're making a joke, but that's also the way the characters decided to try and delay First Order to help facilitate the evacuation.
Yeah, and that's a big deal because their lives are on the line of getting everybody out of there and the lives of thousands of people.
I love how serious Hux is. He's like, we will destroy your stupid resistance base or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, he's super serious, and Poe's just like, still waiting.
Yeah. Which I think kind of highlights like some of the melodrama that we kind of just let slide in movies sometimes, like when bad guys go on these big monologues and it's like, if you're not there to actually like acknowledge the fact that he did it, it totally becomes hilarious.
Right, exactly.
Well, and it kind of just reminds me of the scene too when he meets Kylo Ren for the first time. He's like, so who's going to do this? Are you going to talk? Am I going to talk?
Right.
That kind of funny.
Yeah, from the
scene,
very get-go, his characters had that kind of snarky, just awesome sense of humor.
Doesn't really, it takes things seriously, but not really.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay, what do you got next, Kara?
Well, I thought it's sad / hilarious when Chewbacca decides he needs to eat.
Yes.
And so you cut to the scene of him sitting in front of a fireplace roasting some pork.
Yep.
And then he's sitting there, Barry take a bite, and they, they look at all the porks, and he, does his roar, and they all fly away, but then one stays, and he looks up at Chewbacca, he's like,
And it actually kills his appetite.
Yeah, and Chewie goes to take a bite, and then he looks, and he's like, you know, his,
Well, it's like, I think people are either split on whether they like or hate the porgs, but whether you like or hate them, that scene's hilarious. And I love the porgs.
I love
think
the
they were a
porgs.
great
It's
addition.
a pro porg channel.
and,
Yes.
and here's the thing, like, they did porgs to cover up the puffins.
Yes.
There were too many puffins on the island for them to actually CGI every single one out. And so they decided, let's create a new Star Wars animal.
Yeah, a little
So
bit
it's
of...
like, don't hate.
Yeah.
Everybody hated the Ewoks, and now everybody loves the Ewoks. So
Except for the people that don't. No,
yeah, right, I know.
I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Get over yourselves.
Yeah, no, like they're cute and they're fun, and
Yeah.
like I think something that people lose sight of constantly is like these are movies for kids.
Yep.
Right. That's just it. And the porgs don't change the movie whatsoever.
No.
No, they're just cute and fun.
Exactly. So, yeah.
So, like we're sort of like a lot of these moments are kind of like humor based.
Yes.
At the
Right.
beginning,
It's what makes the movie, though.
Yeah, so like there are a lot of just really genuinely fun moments, and I think part of it is like it's sort of playing on what our expectations are,
Mm-hmm.
and then just sort of being like, oh, isn't this kind of a goofy whatever, you know? And like,
Right.
and it's all the moments sort of feel within the characters too. It's not they're not stepping outside
Right.
of them to do this. So this one in particular, when Rey finally breaks Luke down, is like I need to be trained and everything. So they're sitting out on the outcropping, and Luke's like, reach out.
Reach out.
I feel something.
You feel it?
Yes, I feel it.
That's the Force.
Really?
Wow, it must be really strong
Oh,
with
I've
you.
never felt any. Ow! You meant reach out, like.
And then he reaches out and he's playing. He has this leaf or whatever. And he's like, "You feel that? That's the Force." And she's like, "Really?" And then he swats it with it. Like because like at that point in time, Luke is basically like he's like abandoned the Force.
Yep.
And like he's through like ridiculing her, trying to be
Right.
like, it's so goofy to think that one person that's Force sensitive can make that big of a difference,
Right.
type of thing, right? And it's just such a great little moment. Like it's funny, but again, it serves like a greater thing. Like he's getting his message across to her.
Right.
At least he's trying to get his message across to her doing that. But then he actually does have her focus and concentrate, and she starts levitating this stuff. And then she finds the dark, whatever that mossy hole in the ground
Yeah.
is.
Right, the
Yeah.
darkness, the dark side of the island.
Yeah, and it's like, and
Yeah.
then immediately becomes terrifying. He's like, you didn't even try to fight it.
Yeah. Right.
And she's like,
What
she
am I
has no
supposed to do?
idea
Yeah.
about the Force,
Well-
really. So, I mean,
It's
Yeah.
also a funny moment too if you've ever spent any time like teaching somebody anything. It's like you tell somebody something and you just assume that they're gonna do what you're thinking of them doing, and they do something different.
that's why I
Yeah.
make a horrible teacher.
And so, I mean, I did that way back in the day. We have like stuff that are sewn on, and we have to. There's this little clip, and you pull it out, and you check it, and you put it back in there, and verify the numbers. So my boss, way back in the day, he's like, "Yeah, just take it off and check the numbers." And instead of taking the pin off and pulling it out, I cut the entire sewing off and pulled the whole thing off. And he comes back in and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "What? You told me to take it off." And he goes, No, you just take the clip out. You don't cut the whole thing off." You know, so it was like
You had to re-sew the whole thing
I had to
back together.
sew the whole thing back on. It was a big ordeal. So it's funny because if you've ever, and I've done the same thing when I'm showing somebody something. It's like you tell them something, and it's like they do the complete opposite.
Yeah,
So.
but at least it wasn't life or death Force stakes when you were doing
Yes,
it.
yes.
True, it's-
Reach out. So she's physically reaches
Yeah.
out. It's a funny moment.
So,
And then this is kind of a cool thing. There's a little Easter egg. We know the big plot device of it, and we'll talk about it. The hyperdrive through the. But when Leia is outside the ship and she's using the Force to pull herself back in, she cuts right through Snoke's ship. So we'll put the clip
The
in here.
hologram of
but-
Yeah.
Snoke's ship.
yeah, in the or I guess it wasn't the bridge, whatever room it was.
Yeah.
I think that was the bridge.
Maybe it
wasn't
was the bridge.
Yeah.
Whatever it was. There's a hologram projecting the ship, and she slices right through it.
Yeah.
And then it disappears.
So, which actually I think sort of does double work now that I've been thinking about it. Like, so obviously there's the moment later with Holdo, but also Snoke gets cut in half.
That's
Oh,
true.
that's
yeah.
true.
So,
So-
the ship and him get cut in half.
So it's like it could be foreshadowing two different things. It's clearly intentional because they had to do the work to put the hologram in and have her cut it in half.
Right.
Yeah. I've always said Snoke was half the character Palpatine. Discount Snoke.
Oh my gosh.
Half off.
Oh my goodness! Just
Lord.
stop. So
We're having fun with The Last Jedi, all right? All right.
Just another sort of like great little moment is when, again, like a lot of this movie is like Rey convincing Luke that he needs to like rejoin the resistance. Like he needs to participate. It's like sometimes you just need a legend, whatever.
Right.
And then she's been having the Force time conversations with Kylo.
Yep.
And he like Luke realized that like if this continues to happen, like Kylo might convince Rey to go to the dark side. So then he explains how Kylo came to be and what Luke's ultimate failing as a teacher was.
Yes.
And I was left with shame and with consequence. And the last thing I saw were the eyes of a frightened boy whose master had failed him.
Was almost giving into the temptation of like he sees the darkness and he lit his lightsaber and that one moment of like sort of doubting
I
whether
love
or not
that.
he could have saved him. And it's such especially coming from Luke, whose whole thing was like seeing
Redemption,
the light in
Vader.
Darth Vader, and but like being so afraid to let it get back out of balance then too. So that's sort of like it's all such a great arc that he goes on.
His storyline in the movie is fantastic, and I like even the little battle between. They have a little spat between him and Rey. They get in a little fight and just. Subtle, like he uses the Force to catch himself, and
Like that's probably the first time he's used the Force in years.
Yeah, like she swings at him, he uses the Force to grab like that weather vane thing or whatever to
Yeah.
make a couple of blocks, then protects himself from like smashing into the ground.
Old man Luke.
Yeah.
He might break a bone.
Well, he drinks all that green milk, so he's probably got great bones.
Lord knows I don't want that green milk. So I know this is one thing we all agree on.
Definitely.
This definitely like makes the movie feel like Star Wars when Yoda appears.
Skywalker, missed your eyes.
Oh, so great.
Forrest goes Yoda, and he's trolling the heck out of Luke. Like
Hard. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
She's got the books. Oh, page turners they were not. You know? 'Cause he's just like, first he doesn't want the Jedi.
the
or he wants,
ancient Jedi text. He says text weird.
but we've got Luke saying the Jedi have to die.
Yep.
But then he wants to preserve the books.
Right, so it's like
So
You can tell he has that conflict.
yeah, he's got that
Right,
conflict. So
yeah.
Yoda comes in and he's like, oh, you don't need them because poosh.
Which how
Luke's like,
can we take a moment to discuss like how as a Force ghost being able to summon lightning, it's like there's gonna be some stuff I hope in episode 9.
please let there be some good stuff. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited.
So, but then you could also argue that lightning's a Sith power, and it's like, Yoda, what are you doing?
Yeah, right.
It's
He's just
evil.
manipulating the storm.
What if Palpatine is projecting a fake version of Yoda to Luke to destroy the last of the Jedi
Yeah,
texts?
oh, there you go. And it's going to come in the next movie come into play.
Oh
Chris
my
called
goodness.
It.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Oh my goodness.
But I just remember sitting in the theater, and you can see why I don't think The Last Jedi is a great movie. In this other video, you can click right here. But when Yoda showed up, that is what pulled me in until the rest of the movie.
I was gonna say you can't click there yet because the other one's coming out after this one.
Yeah, so if this video is more than a week old, click up here. If it's not more than a week old, come back next week and check out all the reasons why episode 8 is terrible.
Yeah, do that, what he said. I can't believe
was
that's
like-
so funny.
What?
But yeah, so it just like Jeremy was saying, it's like there's stretches of this film where it's like it's sort of like tripping over itself, but this is definitely like a concrete this is Star Wars
Yep.
moment.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. That's what it feels like. It's amazing.
So and then again, sort of a similar time in the film is like this whole like Rey shows up, and then Luke's finally deciding to train her, and he encounters R2, and they have their reunion thing. And it's like it's such a nice moment, and then R2 is like trying to convince him too through his beeps and bloops.
Yep.
And then he pulls the dirtiest trick he could possibly pull, and he plays.
Nothing can make me change my mind.
Years ago, you served my father in the Clone Wars. Now he you to help him in his struggle against the Empire. I regret that I am unable to present my father's request
It
to
was
his
a cheap move.
But my ship has fallen under attack.
Leia's message from episode 4.
Which is just totally R2. Like, that's something that he did it in the movie, but it just fits the droid personality and who he is. And it really makes it feel like a Star Wars movie. And I enjoy the new movie so much because of those nostalgic moments. It's starting cold with continuation of the trilogy without any of the old characters wouldn't have been the same. So by mixing in, I can't wait to see Lando in the next one, but by mixing in these characters that we've known and loved, it makes the movie that much better. And so not only do we get to see R2, we get to see, like, you know, memories of Leia and all that come across. It's just awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome scene.
And then harkening back to, like, when literally the last Jedi that people knew of was Obi-Wan.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
You know, so it's like Leia obviously thought it was important enough to get that one Jedi to come and help.
That's a very good point.
You know, so it's like, again, the best parts of this movie is doing double duty.
Yes.
It's obviously a fun nostalgic moment, but then it's like you think back, it's like they thought that one Jedi was enough 35 years ago.
And it was.
You know, and it's like, and again, like, because they're sort of like stealing from themselves and stuff, it's like, so Luke becomes the Obi-Wan character, trains the next Jedi that's going to go on and hopefully save the universe and everything. So it's like, it's a simple little moment that is just packed full of of nostalgia and plot and foreshadowing and all of this, like, just great little things.
It's really great. So we've got all these cool character moments, but there's some really stunning, like, visual and just fun stuff that happens in this movie too. So I really love the opening shot of the movie when you see the Resistance evacuating and you've got the big ships come in. I know, Carrie, you really liked it.
Everyone on the transport! Oh no.
It's just a cool effect. Like, whenever you see the ships up in space, they're gray and, you know, they got lights and everything. But, like, I like the effect that they did. So when they look up through the atmosphere, you just see these white, tiny little Star Destroyers come flashing on in. And it's all of a sudden, like, they're trying to evacuate, but all of a sudden there's, like, dozens upon dozens of Star Destroyers, you know, like, popping right into view. And, I mean, can you imagine how intimidating that would be?
Oh, absolutely.
It gives you a sense of perspective because, like, on Earth, like, we've sent spaceships up and we can't see them.
Right, exactly.
And this is, like, middle of the day, all of a sudden you're seeing spaceships from the ground. It's like, you know, A, you know they're massive, B, you know they're, like, just from all the other things that you've seen, that these are not good omens.
Right. And they're there for you. Like, they're there for you.
They want to kill you.
They want to kill you.
You know?
You can see, you know, like, you watch World War II movies and you see the planes fly over and how, like, they'll do missions just to shock and awe people.
Yeah.
And it's like, these things are coming for you and they're, you know, they're above your position, they're coming in hot. It's a very intimidating moment.
Yeah,
very,
it puts
very
you in
cool.
a sense of vulnerability. So, like, in classic film theory, there's these height dynamics where if you want something to look big and imposing, you shoot it from a really low angle.
Yep.
You know, so it doesn't make them look big and powerful, but it gives you that same thing. Like, you feel so small and diminished because they're way up there, and they have
thousands and thousands of feet away.
Yeah, they have the ultimate high ground.
Right?
Don't try it, Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
Don't try it, Resistance.
Yeah.
I have the high ground.
So if only Anakin had Poe running shotgun. For him.
Exactly. They would have totally make it.
But yeah, just like it's a really fun, nice moment in the movie that, like, it might go unnoticed, you know, by people like, oh, they're showing up. It's like, it's another example of them, like, sort of thinking through their shot choices and how they're gonna, like, present these elements to you.
Right. So then we have the fight scene between, like, Kylo / Rey / Snoke.
And kills his true enemy.
It's a really cool scene.
Yeah, like the different sort of forces working against each other. Is Kylo gonna flip? Is Rey gonna get converted? What's the deal with Snoke? Like, there's all these variables.
Yeah. Well, after he cuts Rey in half,
whoa! I saw a totally different movie.
After he cut Snoke in half, I thought that was his redemption arc. I thought that was it. And so it's like you get a flip and then a flop again, where, and then you get the really cool fight scene and just all the red guards and their cool new weapons. But you get at the end when they pull the lightsaber apart. But Kylo comes to and you see Hux like going to pull out his blaster and he's like,
nope, nothing to see here.
Yeah, nothing to see here.
Well, yeah, because there's this power vacuum, and I think that's part of the thing why. So like after like they defeat all the red guards or whatever, you think that Kylo's gonna team up with Rey, but then he sees it's like I can just run the show.
Yes,
and like that's the thing with the dark side is it really pushes you to just seize that power and try and get more and more of it.
Yep.
So just like a plausible reason why it'd seem that he would be converted to the light side was like, oh nope.
Can you imagine if Rey had joined him?
She might in episode 9.
Oh, Reylo.
Yeah.
You stop talking. I am not a Reylo shipper. So, just saying. Okay. So kind of going back to the Leia scene cutting through the Snoke ship.
Whatever,
Yep, right. One of our favorite scenes was actually Holdo flying.
And she drove it right through there.
Just drove it right on through Snoke's ship.
I think drive is as good a word as any. So.
It's a hyperdrive.
Hyperdrive. Okay.
She hyperdrove it.
But I love it because like on Snoke's ship, they're like, oh, it's empty. It's just a decoy. Just leave it alone.
Shoot for the transports.
Yeah.
This is episode 4 problems all over again. Oh, there's no life forms aboard.
Right.
Time.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
The window was dirty. I couldn't see it.
The window's dirty. It was that bug kick. Could you imagine if a bug went like hyperdrive through your car and with the same effect? I mean, scale wise.
Well, so you got to think like force is mass times acceleration.
Yeah.
So light speed acceleration on a bug that weighs nothing would still explode you.
Right.
That's crazy.
So and that like just decimated the fleet, which is really cool.
No, it is super cool. I mean, she's turning the ship, obviously, to give them time to get away, and Hux is all confident. There's nothing on the ship. And then all of a sudden, one of the people on the bridge is like, they're firing up their hyperdrive. And that's when Snoke begins to, or not Snoke, but Hux really is like, fire all cannons, and at that point it's too late, and Holdo just decimates Snoke's ship.
Star Wars does droids, and they do sound effects.
Yes.
And the utter silence, just complete and utter silence, and then that sound they made is incredible.
Well, and the visuals, like it's black, and then all of a sudden you see this flash of light and this burst, and it's like, like stunning.
Yeah, it's like the lightness is cutting through the darkness. It's like that. They talk throughout the whole thing about there's hope. Like it's like the visual representation of what hope can do for the resistance. It's like you just need that one thing to cut through the darkness and tilt the tide of battle for you.
Yeah.
One of my favorite scenes is, again, with all those classic moments and just the whole Falcon scene on Crate. So we get to introduce to Crate. Things go kind of quickly once they get on Crate. They're already setting up to protect themselves because the First Order's right on their butt. But as the Poe is learning his leadership lessons and all that's happening... You get the Falcon that shows up and draws all the fire away, and just the beautiful red and all of the ships, Crate in general, but just the Falcon. Just seeing that again, and then the funny joke.
How angry Kylo was.
Blow that piece of junk out of the sky!
All fighters!
Chewie, peel off from the battle. Draw them away from the speeders.
She drew them off! All of them! Oh, they hate that ship!
Right.
Get that ship! They really hate that ship.
Yeah.
And
the Falcon doing what it always does. It swoops in at the last second.
Yeah.
Yes.
And provides that pivotal bit of momentum
to the other side. Oh, I love it. It's so good. And then you get Chewie is now at the helm without Han. He's flying it. Rey is running the guns. And then he's got the Porg in the passenger seat. You know, it's like, it's fun. And it's nice to see Chewie be able to do something cool like that once too. So he flew with Han all those years, but he was important.
Well, yeah, he's clearly just as good a pilot as Han was too.
Right.
You know, it's like it wasn't just like Han was like this amazing pilot. Chewie was just there, you know, just like flipping levers. You know.
Maybe Han's luck rubbed off on Chewie now.
I think
There you
so.
go.
That luck brought them together, those
Yeah.
two. Great characters and great scenes.
So the Olive Crate, like talking about the Yoda scene earlier, how that felt like a Star Wars moment. Basically, from the time they get on the crate to the end of the movie, did just an amazing job of just being a Star Wars movie.
Right. Totally agree.
And we finally get to see Luke confront Kylo.
The Resistance is dead. The war is over. And when I kill you, I will have killed the Last Jedi.
Amazing. Every word of what you just said was wrong. The rebellion is reborn today.
But not in the way that we would normally have expected it to play out. He does this force projection, which they sort of set up the idea, but with Snoke connecting Rey and Kylo, and how much like effort that would have taken, and then Luke just projects his entire self onto Crate, and then like the way that he interacts with Kylo is like everything you just said is wrong. It's like it's so. So cool,
good.
You know, and it's like just like baiting him into using the anger that he has, you know, and like
the whole, you know, like,
do you think you've got it?
the scene is fantastic, and again, it feels straight up Star Wars. It's one of the best lightsaber fights.
Yeah,
without even hitting blades.
Exactly, yeah, and then like Luke just looks like a stone cold BA Jedi because he's just dodging out of the way of it and everything.
So cool.
And so here's the thing that I think goes underappreciated. Kylo doesn't question that Luke can do this.
Yes, I know.
You know, it's not like he's like, whoa, how did you learn to do that or anything? It's just like it's true. He knows that it's a thing.
Right, it's that good. Yeah.
Yeah, Kylo just sees red constantly, and that's been established. But it's that whole thing where it reminds me, I'm going to quote One Punch Man here even. You know, it's like you've got his sidekick trying to always up his power to be better than Satma. But, you know.
Genos.
Genos. Wow, Kira's throwing down sweet knowledge. But Kylo Ren, it's like your master's always one step ahead of you when it comes to knowledge and skill and everything. It's like they hold back and make you feel good enough. But I mean, I don't know. It's just
something I like Luke is powerful. We all know this. I love that he took the extra time to say goodbye to Leia.
Yes.
Like, I mean, this is killing him.
He could still be alive if it wasn't for that.
Right? He's basically killing himself, but he wants to say goodbye to his sister.
Yep.
You know, I mean, I think that's awesome.
Yep,
like,
no,
he
such a great
is
moment.
powerful, man. He's no what do you call him? He's no slouch.
Yeah,
there
no
we go.
slouch,
That's the word I'm looking for.
I think you're gonna say Snoke, and I was like,
I think if it came down to Snoke and Luke, I think Luke
would kick his butt.
oh
Right?
yeah. Well, Snoke got beat by Kylo.
Again, it's those Sith masters being overly confident in their apprentice.
Well, so speaking of overconfidence, because we just watched Jedi recently.
Yep.
And when Luke's like, it's like your overconfidence is your greatest weakness or whatever. And it's like that. It's true. Like every single Sith has this overconfidence problem.
Yep.
So
That's the whole. That fills in with like they come to the dark side for power, and then that power just distorts their reality, makes them think that they can't be beat, and then they get confident, and then.
So anyway, those are the reasons why we thought Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, is a great movie. Obviously, there's more things than that, but we don't want to take 500 years to make these videos, so comment down below anything that you think makes it a great movie, or if you want to refute our points, feel free to use the comment section below to do that as well. Like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, ring the notification bell if you want to be notified of everything that we upload. It means a lot to us, it shows that you're all in with what we're doing, and of course,
may the Force be with you.